Hello, all. Dave, I'm sorry I'm not there for Lewis today as well. Just not gonna work without causing extreme well, it would have worked me over to make it happen. Uh and to New Hampshire to Arizona tomorrow would have been my wife's 74th birthday. 10 days after will be her second year heavenliest birthday. I can imagine you do, miss her. Sending you comfort, brother. Sending you comfort. Hello, Tommy. How are things across the water? Hello, Rexy. Hello, Christy. 72Z to go. Oh, I see all the man. We got a lot of mods in this morning. That's awesome. Hello, George. Joni's World. J Hart. Miss Newton. Yes, for those that are wondering what today is, I am repping for the Saskatchewan. I guess starts for I believe they call it the Grey Cup. Starts this coming week. Festivities, final day of playoffs, fun stuff going on in Canada for football. WR Carr, my birthday is tomorrow, 72 years young. Renetta, happy birthday. Let's see. Dear friend passed from where Herms is today. She introduced me to this fabulous area. I've heard good things about the area. So sorry to hear about your friend passing. David, there's a little bit of bond news. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Just so you know, coming out of the gate. We'll cover it very quickly. I'll do like a short clipped one because I got to do an ad read, whatever, and then get to Matt and enjoy some time with the guru. See, I mean, I don't even know if he's slept yet because they're in the middle of their warehouse move as they flee Minnesota. Carolyn said my daughter got her full November EBT loaded last night, only 5 days late. Yeah, some of the states have been sitting on the money, haven't distributed yet, waiting for more money from the federal government. I know I need to stay on it, need to get on it. Focus time in recent clinical trials this year. Women who took 2.5 grams of collagen peptides daily for 8 weeks saw an average of a 25% reduction in eye wrinkle depth, a 9% improvement in elasticity, a 29% book in increase in skin hydration, proving collagen can visibly strengthen and rejuvenate skin from within. That's why I use today's sponsor, BioTrust Ageless Multi Collagen. Obsessed with the results it's giving my skin. BioTrust's Ageless Multi Collagen helps supercharge my skin health using 5 premium types of collagen needed to help reduce wrinkles. I've noticed smoother skin, more elasticity, more hydration, fewer fine lines, and a youthful glow. Plus, it helps improve my joint health, bone strength, and connectivity issues on top of my skin health. For limited time, you can grab a bag of BioTrust Ageless Multi Collagen for up to 51% off only at healthwithmarkz.com. Plus, you also receive free live VIP health and fitness coaching for life, free ebook entitled The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and free express shipping with your order. Once again, you can find that at healthwithmarkz.com. Short, very quick on the news side. Did have a bond contact pop up. We'll talk about that very briefly. Nothing shattering, but it explains the quiet as they have been asked to clam up. And I will explain what that means at the news cycle. But it explains why they've been quiet. Doesn't mean somebody's running around with cash, but it explains why they have gotten very quiet. In a nutshell, they have been urged, strongly asked, but not legally to clam up because it could affect their spot in line. So some positive stuff on that. We will expand on it. We will talk about the Iraqi election cycle and what appears to be very pro for Sudani. We'll talk about SNAP benefits in the Supreme Court, what that may or may not mean. A very interesting piece from the former cellmate of Epstein. Some interesting stuff. And your new governor elect in Virginia's, well, CIA ties. I know. Shocker, right? I guess that was only a matter of time that CIA would go from like directly affecting people in politics to just being in politics, perhaps. Got to always leave it that way. All right, folks, let's have a bit of fun. Bit of fun this morning with the fellas. We'll start with Lucas and Matt. Hello, guys.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mark.
Oh, wait. The ostrich. Good morning. You've been keeping up with this ostrich slaughter in Canada. I think that's basically Canada's version of the squirrel from New York, but I don't know for certain.
What's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I keep hearing pieces. Oh my God, feeling bad for the ostriches or whatever. And I'm just wondering if an overbearing government has started slaughtering animals.
Well, back in the 90s, that was the rave in the United States, is that, a lot of the industry was switching over and they're like, hey, cows are too fatty. We really need to switch to a different meat. And in the 90s, my aunt was one of them in Ohio. They went all in on this mentality, as did several thousand people over the US, to raise ostriches for ostrich meat, because of how lean the ostrich meat was, and that the whole thing in the mid 90s was to overtake selling cattle and go move all of our meat production over to ostriches.
I'm like looking this one up. I had friends that the Canada ostrich, the ostrich culling controversy in Canada centers around a cull order issued by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency for over 300 ostriches at Universal Ostrich Farms in British Columbia following an avian flu outbreak. So let's see. The culling of approximately 4 after several birds. It looks like it's kind of a regular thing. Whenever there might be a bird flu issue, they butcher the ostriches.
Yeah, that's too bad. But just remember, British Columbia, are they the ones over on the West Coast? I think they are, right?
Yeah, they're well, in British Columbia, the left side. Any of the folks from Canada Land want to sound off and enlighten the ignorant Yanks from down south, myself included?
You only got about 9 more months in that fiasco called Canada. Not that you guys aren't good. It's just that the east side, the East European Canadians, we call them. The Europeans, they're more aligned with Europe, which is probably truthfully going to end up being a third world country when everything shakes out, because it ain't going to be Africa. So anyway,
I'm curious. Supposedly this happened to over 1 bird and a false positive test, but because they're not certain and they won't even let the family farm defend themselves or do more testing, it appears. This is what I'm getting from chat. They're ordering the culling or the slaughtering of it. I mean, devastating. I can't imagine if you're one of those families that invested, Lucas, and your entire life savings just went down the drain.
Oh, I know.
With no ability to defend yourself. I could see where I can see where there would be some upset over that one.
I would be too, but that is Canada.
Yeah, welcome to Canada Land.
And soon to be New York.
Brenda says these ostriches were immune to the bird flu. That's why there's such a controversy, because there were some people, RFK Jr. included, who wanted to study them as to why they're immune to the avian flu. That would absolutely be something to discuss.
Why not?
Cheryl said, I've got to do some digging. It's awful. I've been watching this for months. I'm sitting here doing just my quick research. This is drug on. The birds were healthy for over 280 days, and the courts would not listen to the defense or allow any testing to prove they were not sick. Wow. Yeah. All right.
You know what, though? I've been waking up every morning. I can hear the gunshots on Friday and Saturdays of the duck hunting by my place. Oh my God! They must have shot at least 2,000 ducks in the last month here. So, anyways, poor birds.
Oh, geez. Cheryl.
Hopefully they eat them.
Yeah. Well, no, that's just it. They're just killing them. The way the CFIA handled that was unbelievable. They didn't even test the birds. They just put them in the pen and did over 900 bullet shots over the night. So I guess overnight last night, they lined them up in a pen where they couldn't even get away and just started shooting.
Oh, what a bunch of losers.
Kind of reminds you of what Saddam Hussein did to the Kurds as they lined them up along the banks and shot them, or Hitler did to some Jews, supposedly, and shot them and pushed them in, or what's going on in Nigeria with Christians where they just, dig a ditch, shoot them, and dump them in. I know it sounds absolutely horrendous and barbaric, and unfortunately, that's the world we live in.
But the big news in Canada is probably by next June 1st or whatever, 80% of you guys will be in a new territory. I mean, you'll be in the same area. You'll just get a lot of advantages where you don't have to give away all your money to the East Canadian Europeans out of Ottawa. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Ottawa. Yeah, it's a fact. It's just the way it is,
That's tough.
I mean, there was a study done that the people in Alberta, if they were able to keep all their resources from being a little kid, all the money instead of sending it over there, they'd each be worth over $3 million cash right now, each citizen, man, woman, and child.
Wow, that's a lot of natural resources.
Yeah, that the other guys over there don't have, and they call the shots. That's unbelievable. It's just beyond belief. It would be like Vermont or something calling the shots for the U.S. for God's sakes, or New York City. Oh, they're in trouble, aren't they? Oh my God, what a disaster that shit is. It's as bad as Minneapolis. Hey, that movie Escape from New York, I heard they really are going to film it there next year. They're going to
the new sequel. I hope Kurt Russell's in it.
Yeah, maximum security prison with Snake Plissken.
Right.
And good Lord, can you imagine having a big operation there now going, how the hell did we think we were going to stay here through this shit? It's
do you look at the demographics from the vote in New York? It was overwhelmingly younger people that had lived 5 years or less in New York City. So the people that elected Mamdani were not native New Yorkers. They weren't people that had invested in a long time. They were newer folks that were most likely just looking for the free handouts. And I wonder how many of them, if they did some searches, even had their citizenship based on the vote and how it turned out. I mean, it just does not add up when you do the math and the demographics they were reporting on that election. And if the demographics are correct, that's even more damning to what just happened for the New York mayoral race.
Well, oh my goodness. And then in Minneapolis, so we've been in a disaster for at least going on 5 years, I think. Not we, but Minneapolis has, because we're out of it, so we don't even consider it part of Minneapolis anymore. But they can't even fill 40% of their police jobs. They have 40% police jobs that go unfilled because they can't. Can you imagine that? The guys who are police somewhere and they need a job, but they won't even apply there.
Yeah, not even interested. I get it. It happens in the U.S. all the time. Can I tell you how many New York cops that I've met or with Puerto Rican ancestry or whatever that are now cops in Puerto Rico because they left New York because it had turned into such a crap show? How many I've met throughout the U.S. and rural counties that left New York City as cops to go work in anywhere but because it was so crazy?
And there's guys sitting there
we kind of lost him there. You're going to have to fill in, Lucas.
Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't know if it was me or him.
Yeah, it was him, but he's back, I think.
Yeah, somebody's trying to call me, whoever that is. But anyway, so there's probably 2,000 police officers or firemen sitting there today going, hey, hon, we got to put our place up for sale right now where we can get some money for it and get over to that small town over there in Pennsylvania or New Jersey, or not New Jersey. They probably want to get further away than that, probably somewhere down south. And oh my goodness, the people that are going to leave that state, it's going to be, and they're going to lose the good ones. And then they're going to be left with all the, well, if you want to know what happens when people leave a city and abandon it, the good people, just come on over to Minneapolis and plan your convention here. Oh, that's right. They don't have one convention this year coming up planned in Minneapolis. Can you believe that? And
no, I'm not surprised.
I used to be in that business in the 90s. They would have 2 or 3 at a time, always year round, big ones. And it would be like, it's unbelievable. Not one convention planned in Minneapolis is coming here. Not one. Unbelievable. And here's how bad it can get everybody. The vacancy rate where the hotel rooms are taken down in Minneapolis, this is year round down there, even including weekends. It's at between 12 and 18% per hotel. And where it used to be as high as, I think it was 94% year round. And that's unbelievable. And then
that
the people,
the financial math does not work for it to be
no,
a business.
You can go downtown Minneapolis right now today on the weekend, and you can get a room for anywhere from 45, and the high price room at the Hyatt or the Hilton is $64.
Wow.
Unbelievable. I mean, you could. It's a shithole, to say the least.
I think if they elected me, I would become like the pork capital of the United States. Somebody like Bill said Mamdani was in Puerto Rico for a weekend retreat. Looked like he was in a mosque. I mean, like per capita, Puerto Rico is probably, I mean, we eat more pork down here than the Jimmy Dean family eats pork per capita. That's kind of surprising. You know, you keep hearing that women in New York are going to start wearing bacon perfume.
Wow.
To protect themselves. No, I'm joking about that one, but no, the per capita pork thing. So Minnesota, maybe, you know, Matt, why don't you run for governor of Minnesota, and you know, make it the pork capital, give all kinds of discounts to pork companies to come in. I know that sounds horrendous, and I just upset a lot of people, but
instead of running, I'll just run out of the state. You know,
that's
hey, you know what? Hey,
we're
going to Wisconsin. Damn. Hey, I got to tell you something. You guys will laugh your head off, okay? And Lucas, you especially, because you're in the business, and you're in the business too, Mark. But here's how they've set up the laws in Minnesota for THC. So being across CBD, being across the border in Wisconsin, you can ship into Minnesota.
Right.
And any common carrier, okay? You can't deliver it personally, but you can ship it through post office, UPS, FedEx, whatever you want to do, okay? Being in Minnesota, a company, they're not allowed anybody to ship anything with any common carrier. And if they do, they've broken their state. You didn't know that, did you, Lucas? But you can't ship anything, even to your own customers. So there's a few companies here in the state that, and they got kind of blindsided by this because it was thrown in there right at the last moment here. It was actually 5 weeks ago on a Saturday night at 2:40. I got the email that they did this. You can't ship post office to another state from Minnesota if you're located in Minnesota, and that truly is unbelievable. And that's the reason.
To me, that would violate about every interstate commerce law in the United States. I mean, I can't imagine that is going to hold up over time. It's just, is it worth spending the money to sue? Hey, you'll probably win in a few years, but you're bankrupt before then, or you just move, cut your losses, and let it devastate. I mean, how many jobs left? How many jobs did you just take out of Minnesota?
Well, I mean, a lot. I mean, from the post office to,
that's what I'm getting at. I mean, you got to think more than just a firm that has 30 employees and they just moved all their facilities across the state line or whatever. Most of the employees are going to move closer to work over time, and they're probably going to leave for the very same reasons you left. Overbearing authoritarian laws. I mean, so now they're not shopping, and the people that were getting paid by these companies or by you, they're not they're not eating at the restaurants, they're not shopping at the grocery store. They're probably going to be paying property taxes in a different state. I mean, it is devastating for a state to have anti-business laws.
Yeah, and you know what? When you're over and across the border, it's I mean, they really are. The restaurants, there's quite a few restaurants in this town called Hudson, but it's just the vibe over there. If you're over there, it just seems like everybody's happier, a lot happier. And like that area, it's probably 30,000, but on the weekends, Saturdays, there'll probably be 200,000 people that go to that area just to goof off, go shopping, go eating, go drinking, and Friday nights too. So it's a little bit of Sunday because now they're staying over there in hotels. I'll bet the vacancy room in Hudson every weekend is probably 100% for the hotels there now. And then you go St. Paul. Actually, don't get me wrong, St. Paul isn't such a bad city. They're hanging in there, but Minneapolis, it fell off the cliff. It did. And it's that's just life. New York's falling off the cliff, Minneapolis falling off the cliff, Chicago's falling off the cliff. I don't know. You can just go right down the line, see who's falling off the cliff. And just by accident, those are all the places where they get votes for the nitwits every time, But anyway, and they're always
Yeah.
right. All those people that live there, they think their view is always 100% right. There's no bending. It's either our way or the highway. Well, okay, the highway leads away from you now, so sorry about that. Hey, Canada's cool, because man, we got one of our relatives. He's got brought up to the junior A team. He's only 16 years old, I think. Yeah, so that's pretty damn good. He's a good player. So, anyways, hockey.
Yeah, hockey. All right, let's talk about something fantastic and upbeat
Oh,
and
yeah,
all
right
that.
on. Let's do it. Okay. You want to do it, Lucas, or should I do it?
You better do it. I'm just here to look pretty.
Okay. Okay. I believe you. Okay. So if you want to get into the site, go to thecbdgurus.com. We are the CBD Gurus. And THECBDGURUS.com. And then when you get in there, up above, there's home, shop, wholesale. Hit the wholesale button and then go to MarkZ Wholesale. And then when you get in there, if you have to put in a code word, there's a little box that shows up. It's all lowercase, KRAMCBD. And then you're all set. And then you'll automatically put into the weekly specials. If you want, and there's not in the weekly specials a product you're looking for, just go up in the little categories up above. Scroll up and you'll see them: gummies, Delta 8, Miracle Gold, so on and so forth. Coffee, everything. Okay. So starting yesterday, we've got at 8:50 a.m. Central Time. At $25, we got 10 million Boulevard. Whatever you buy, 25 or more, not including shippings or discounts. And there's no there's no discounts this week, yeah. And so it's 25 or more. And at 50 or more, you get 10 million Venezuela. You get 25,000 Indonesian. At those are rupiah. And yeah, the rupiah guys, him and Trump had a little soiree. I think it was about a week and a half ago. God, it looked like like they were almost having a kegger. They were having so much fun. The Indonesians, they got it together, just like Vietnam. But anyways, okay. At $100, you get 10 million Bolivar. You get 25,000 Indonesian, 50,000 Vietnam, and Venezuela. They'll have it together. Trust me. We wouldn't be down there doing what we're doing if it wasn't going to get together. Okay. At 125 or more, you also get all the currency, plus you get the 60 count mushroom, 4 mushroom gummies with 1,400 milligrams of mushrooms in there. And those mushrooms do real good. They make you feel great. They got all kinds of therapeutic things they do for you. Anyways, at first I wasn't a believer in the mushroom 3 years ago, but now I am a big believer, and I think it's straightened out my life, my health life, not my personal life, but my health life. Anyway, any order with currency, we take a picture. Okay, yeah. So, okay, if you need if you need any help, call Wendy. She's standing by, and if she won't take the call, Amy will. 612-412-8343. It's just because she gets busy. So if you call there, just leave a message, and she'll get back to you, either one. And then let's see. The specials we got. I got a couple extra ones in there for today. We've got 5 regular gummies, and that'll get you at $125. That'll save you $20. 5 for $125, save $20. And you'll get the 60 count 4 mushroom free with that because you qualify. Same with the sleep gummies, 5 for $125. You qualify for the freebie plus the currency. For the 60 count mushrooms, save $31. 4 of those for $125, and you qualified. We've got our coffee, our drinks. If you want to get the drinks, maybe you want to get them. It looks like it's going to start getting too cold to start sending them pretty soon. So if you want drinks, get them today. And then we got the quarter pound coffee, $8. We got the concentrates, 3 flavors, $9. We got the roll on We got our lotion, 5 flavors. We got the Delta 8. We got the turkey tail. We got the lion's mane capsules. We've got the 20 count gummies, 10 milligram gummies. They're a little bit different flavored from our 10 count, 10 milligram. These are 20 count. They're a little bit cheaper, but they're great gummies. They got the THC in them. Then we've got 6 different chocolates. We've got the lion's mane gummies. We got the 4 mushroom gummies. We got the 5 matrix mushrooms. We got the THC gummies, 30 of those for $21 and 5 milligram each. We've got the Miracle Gold, the ACV, the oils. Oh, the Miracle Gold with THC, you get a 20 count gummy with that. Plus we lowered the price, so that's on special. And then we got the 14,000, same thing. You get a 20 count, 10 milligram gummy. You know, a lot of people are buying those 10s. You know, I think I don't know what the reason is, but I think they like them and they work.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And so that's why. And then we got other things down there, but we got the K2D3 sugarless gummies, energy gummies, and energy at dynamite. I'll probably have 4 of those today at least. And then we got the Tropical Thunder shots and with the lemon, and we got the what is it, apple flavor? Yeah, apple's dynamite. And then the immunity capsule, and then we got all the other things. But those are all the specials, everybody. Go to thecbdgurus.com and order away and have a good day.
And one you don't talk about enough anymore is the immunity capsules that you guys have. That is just, especially this time of year. Yeah, I don't know what the next
yeah, they will work, you guys. So they really work. I
want to say, like, I don't know what the next bug is they're going to release or whatever, but I know that like that might get me a little trouble too. But hey, you never know. I mean, just normal colds and flu season and all that good stuff. Can't say enough good stuff about that and the science that goes with it.
Yeah, I think they released it already because I've been hearing from people all over the place that are, you know, a little sick like I was. But I wasn't really nauseated sick or brain sick. I was throat sick, you know, with like a throat cold. It was kind of weird. So, yeah. And anyways, that's it. That's all the specials. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. The answer is, Marianne, no, they don't ship to Canada.
And it's not because we don't want to. It's just that Canada will not allow us to.
Yep.
Just remember when you vote next year to be in the U.S., those 4 provinces, hey, as soon as you're U.S., we can ship to you. And not only that, I'm sure the rates will go way down too. Good Lord. I remember shipping something else to Canada that wasn't CBD, man. It was like $50.
I might start vacationing in Canada then.
Oh, I'm going to go up there all the time. Man.
Hey, we might even get to put a RV resort up there.
Yeah, well, for sure. Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, go to that for sure. Man, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yes. Hey, I got all my cousins up there. They can help run it. You know, why not?
Yeah. Lady Rebel, here's just a great example. My grandchildren, 27 and 23, brought home an upper respiratory thing. Took a week, but finally succumbed to it yesterday. My throat feels like I swallowed sandpaper. You know what's going around? The immunity caps.
And you know what?
Suggest them enough.
You know, you hit it right on the head. It's an upper respiratory deal. That's what it is. It doesn't go lower because I've had the lower before, and you don't want the lower. And,
yeah, the immunity caps are really good for antivirals. So if it's bacterial, it doesn't really the research doesn't really show on the bacterial side, but all these viral infections is what the Oregon State University is what they really push through to show that it just helps stop the replication of these viruses. So if you ever have time, a long time because it's a long doc, but check out the Oregon State medical paper that they put out on the CBGA and CBDA, which are the acids of the cannabinoids before they, so when they're actually in the plant, before the plant is processed, it's still in the acidic version of the cannabinoid. And then when you actually process the plant, you actually turn those acidics into the actual cannabinoid. Same thing with like marijuana and THC. When it's in the plant, it's actually not THC. It's just THCA. It's the acidic version. And then once you heat it up, then it becomes THC. So it's actually really difficult to maintain the acidic value of the cannabinoid when processing it. But when they did that, and hence we're finding out that the acidic versions of these cannabinoids had just crazy awesome benefits. And one being, the CBGA and CBDA really do well against viruses.
Yeah, they seem to be like birth control for a virus, so it just can't replicate and make more viruses. That's the study I was reading, and I thought was just fascinating.
Yeah, and what I don't think we're seeing yet, Mark, is these research that are still in the works of these, which because it hasn't been published, we're not really allowed to mention it on here. But there's some amazing research coming that are still being sought after with the CBGA and CBDA. Some really, really cool medical research coming out.
No, it's some really cool. I mean, we can get into all the other places where they're studying it, but it's pretty neat on the viral front. Any other questions? What do we want to talk about today, guys? We got a little bit of time.
Well, hey, you know what? I'd like to bring one thing up about the, especially the mushroom coffee or the 4 mushroom thing we're giving out free here. To thing, excuse me, the 60-count 4 mushroom, and I mean this 100%. If there's anybody out there who has a spouse or friend that's a little hyper in the morning, kind of like, hey, you want to say to them, hey, just chill out a little bit, I will tell you one thing. With these mushroom, the 4 mushroom or the 5 mushroom capsules or the coffee, you get them that in the morning, it really does chill them out, you guys. I mean, it brings their level down from, if you had somebody who was a hyper 10 level 10, it's going to bring them down to about a 3 or 4. Those mushrooms will even that out. And even if you don't drink coffee, I've noticed with people, and you guys can add to this, but I really mean this. I'm not just saying it. I've seen people kind of mellow out on the mushrooms. They really do. I mean, they don't like change their personality, but they're not so high strung.
Well, you got to realize, let's go into 2 of the mushrooms, Matt.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of people that don't know about these, right? These are just functional mushrooms. They don't create any kind of high or anything like that. But I mean, lion's mane in and of itself, I mean, it's great for supporting your brain health. I mean, it improves your memory, focus. It promotes brain cell growth and nerve repair. It has great, actually, with animal and human studies, Mark, if I'm not mistaken, from our show and from the research, I mean, it protects against, dementia, Alzheimer's. It helps with its anti-inflammatory properties. To Matt's point, to your point, Matt, it helps with, anxiety and depression symptoms. They even had a medical study in Japan that we looked at on lion's mane that did it against some of the major depression drugs out there, and showed that it not only did better with controlling anxiety and depression than the current drugs out there, but it also had no side effects. So it was pretty awesome on the lion's mane. And then, like, I mean, take something like reishi, right? So reishi's another one we have in there. Reishi's probably my favorite, Mark. I mean, lion's mane tastes better. Don't get me wrong. Reishi's very pungent. But reishi, it really boosts your immune function. So it helps your immunity, fight infections, just your overall general health. It's an adaptogen, so it helps your body cope with stress, and like really help your mood, your overall mood. And it's a huge antioxidant. So just off the top of my head, like it just really helps support your cellular health. And it's just like those 2 are some of my favorites. Now we could go in down the road of cordyceps, as well as turkey tail. But guys, for now, like just lion's mane for overall, mood and brain function, as well as just being a neuroprotective agent. And then think of reishi as your immune support. Really, really boost your immunity and overall to not just viruses and bacteria, but a whole plethora of other things that attack your body inside and out. So, really, if you're not taking mushrooms, you really need to look into it and research it because it is awesome stuff. It really is.
It really is. We got people asking what's good for rashes, what's good for eczema. Any thoughts on that front, guys?
We've had a lot of people on the show, Mark, that for eczema. Surprisingly enough, a lot of people have had amazing success with Miracle Gold. I can't say because I just don't have it and I haven't used it. But again, consult with your doctor, before switching over from anything they've given you. But definitely look at the Miracle Gold because there's a lot of people in the MarkZ community that has had real good success with that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, and when you mentioned some of those things, somebody said anything to help maintain blood sugar, and I immediately go to that same Miracle Gold because black seed oil has been shown to be so effective at that, along with your ACV gummies on the blood sugar front. And then we did have somebody ask about shelf life. I've had these products, some where I've had them stashed here, there, between traveling back and forth to the States, and 2-3 years old, and they work just great. But I'm turning those over to you.
Yeah, I mean, typically, Mark, we'd say like the base like 18 months, right? 18 months is kind of that shelf life that the FDA and everything has us try to get to. But at the same time, kind of like like some of my oils, that I've had for I mean, I've experimented with oils and everything for almost a decade now. That we've been we've been manufacturing for Matt, and so what we're what I will tell you is the oils over the gummies. So I've had gummies for 8 years. Crazy enough. Now, granted, they're sealed, they're in a dark, cool spot, whatever. But like they still they still do great long term. But obviously, if there's any air that gets to them, they just dry out. After a long period of time. Now the oils, if I've opened it up and I've kind of kept it open or left it out in the sunlight or something like that, after a long period of time, I'll open it up and be like, "Ooh, that's not good anymore," and throw it away. But I mean, I think that instance was like, I think I had that sucker for like 7 years. But what I always suggest to people, and I've even told Matt this, if you get, a lot of the Miracle Gold or even the 14,000 tincture, the great part about the Miracle Gold is it's also an antimicrobial. So it's very resistant to getting any bacteria that can grow inside just because the natural properties of CBG as well as the black seed oil. But I was like, hey, if you're going to get a lot, just put it in the refrigerator. It's in a dark, cool space. If you're going to keep it for
Whoa,
a
whoa,
long
whoa, whoa,
period of
whoa, whoa, whoa,
time,
wait. But isn't the light always on in the refrigerator?
well, that's the $1 million psychological question, right? I might throw my youngest kid in there just for a second, just to tell
Just
me
to
the
find out. I
answer.
would appreciate that. That's a kind of you.
I will do that, and I'm sure he'll love it. He'll probably eat the leftover cake from a week ago while
Yeah,
he's
you're
in
gonna
there.
come back and you'll be like looking for your kid. He's gonna be sitting in the
Yeah,
fridge
that's
with a
one thing you
tablet
couldn't
and a
have
coat
joked
on
about
eating.
back in the early 60s or 50s about putting somebody in a refrigerator, boy.
Well, because if you think about it, though, back in the 60s and stuff, if you remember, the fridges had locks on them. So, like, as you shut it, you couldn't open it from the inside because it had, you put it under it clicked in and, had the lock on it. But nowadays, Matt, I mean, heck, there's no locks on anything.
Right. I get it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
only,
right.
I want to say it was like in the early 2000s before even in the restaurant business in North Carolina, they started any new walk-in coolers or freezers had to have a release on the inside Because before then, I mean, you're stuck.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Oh,
but yeah, yeah. Don't worry, Matt. Are you worried about me and Mark threatening to put you in the refrigerator?
no, I
Are
just I
you
grew up
claustrophobic? Are you claustrophobic? Just a question.
extremely. That's
I'm a
why
little
if anybody ever
claustrophobic.
tried to corner me, my blade would be out so fast I wouldn't even. No, if
So
you
you're super claustrophobic. Now, the bigger question is, was there something that happened to you when you were younger that created the claustrophobia? Or have you always been this way? Or was there something that kind of set
Now,
it off?
now, Matt, I've got this little doll. Show me what happened
Yeah.
that made you claustrophobic. No, I'm just,
Point to where it hurt.
there was probably a couple instances, but I think I was born with it from a past life. Pretty sure there's something. No, I don't. You know what? I'm sure it was Saved by the Bell. You know where that came from, don't you?
oh yeah, like when they used to bury people, and they would
Yes.
leave like a string and a bell in case they woke up, came out of a coma after they were buried. They can sit there
Yeah.
ringing it so they could get out.
Yeah, and then they.
I wonder if anybody actually rung the bell. In other words, maybe they put it in, but
Yeah, I did some reading on that for sure. They used to have a guy would monitor it at night to make sure there was no noises coming out in a big cemetery. For
and
sure.
meanwhile you'd have like Matt as a little kid, sneaking around ringing a bell.
No. I had a couple cemeteries by my house. You knew better than to go over there and do anything wrong because shit, man. They used to go nuts if you knocked over a stone or something.
God, and they should.
Drove out there and did a cookie, which trust me, I would never ever even think of doing. That would be disgraceful. That would be horrible. And
All right,
what?
Lucas, do you know what doing a cookie means? This is a new, like, I don't know. I guess this is like a St. Olaf or some kind of Minnesota thing.
Well,
nope, no idea.
You just get on a big nice grass lawn, and you just start spinning them tires and turning the wheel.
Oh, so donuts.
Yeah. And the last time that I did that with the guy, I wasn't driving. He did because the parents didn't want him going out with his daughter anymore. And I was actually there I don't know. There was twins. Trust me, there was twins, and I had to be a fill-in pool player. And the dad came down and said, "I think he should leave. I don't want you going out with them again." Oh my God, my buddy flipped his wig, man. He got out in his pickup truck, backed up into their nice yard, and boy, he spun around a couple times. And I'm going, "Scott, stop. No, keep going. Stop. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, yeah. But anyways, hey, if you want to get into the CBD gurus, you go to the CBDgurus.com.
Oh God, it is that time already. We got a couple of questions we didn't get to.
Yeah, well, the main thing is you got to get in there. The people with questions, just
call
send a text over. Yeah, call Wendy. Right on. And so you want to go to the CBDgurus.com and you hit the wholesale button up there. If you need to put in a code word, it's lowercase KRAM CBD. And then you get in there and order away, and a couple things you can stock up on. They're pretty good prices right now, especially those 4 mushroom gummies that pretty much calm everybody down. I'll tell you what, if I had little kids right now, we'll talk about that some other time, but I'd give them one a day for sure. Calm them down a little bit, not all of them, but sometimes they get a little crazy, so anyway, that's it, you guys, the CBDgurus.com.
Yeah, we got to do better with a question and answer time.
Well, all right.
But I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And, that's what do you think, Lucas? You want to do another time deal?
I think so. Just text us when you have available, and let's just do an answer, just question and answer. No stories, Matt. Nothing.
No stories.
Just question and answer.
And we can always do it like in the middle of an afternoon, like when I don't have any podcast going on, so that it's not detracting from, and we don't have to hear people complaining about, all you do is talk about a product or whatever. It's people that want to hear about it that'll be there.
Yeah. Hey, and I didn't mean to swear, you guys, but Minneapolis used to be a beautiful city, and when you lived in a beautiful spot right next to a beautiful city, it was nice, and same with New York. There's people that got fond memories of New York that they may not see the rest of their life now. And that's unfortunate. So that made me say the S word a few times there. So the little kids out there listening, sorry, little kids, but at least I didn't say another word like I've heard. Well,
Mhm.
I was gonna make a joke, Mark and Lucas, but they don't say that word. So only
You
Mark,
can't ring us into that.
only Andy does. No, I'm just kidding, Mark. Andy usually throws that out there when he's on.
Right? Oh yeah, he can rip them.
Yeah.
All right,
So,
Mark. Well, hey,
but
have a great day. Thanks
yeah,
for everything, guys. And yeah, let's get to the news.
All
yeah.
right, let's
I'll
get to it.
see you, Mark. Thanks a
Take
lot.
care,
There.
guys.
Take care. Bye.
DeBoe, 90th. That is awesome. Happy birthday. Looking forward to singing for that one today. Let's get into some news straight out of the news time. So get out of the gate faster today. We did talk, I guess some of us going to want to circle back to the bond thing. So let me do that one first. I had one of my MIA bond contacts pop up, short conversation, because I kept pushing, trying to find out, not being like over the top or anything, but, wanted something, anything. And simply mentioned or said that they had been, and I kind of want to do the air quotes for this, asked to clam up, strongly asked, but not legally. And they were told that it would affect or could affect their timing. Like, do they have to wait a little longer, maybe go after currency? In other words, they've been leaned on and the pressure or the stick for at least this one and his friends and other bond things or acquaintances, I should say, or contacts, associates, were told the same thing so I'm being told by this one contact that is why he has been quiet, but he has been told by multiple that it has been impressed upon them and their paymaster, the attorneys handling the transactions, that it could very much affect their order. So I don't know how many may or may not. I do have some that are pretty thinking wealthy now that didn't have much money before. So I do think some money's flowing. Can I verify it 100%? No. Do I feel very confident that they are being leaned on to not give away timing? I do. He did mention that they are very optimistic about this week, but would not give me any more than that. So it kind of makes sense to me as to why we're getting the quiet. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. 90th birthday. That's just amazing. All right, let's keep running. Within 8 months, Iraq's fiscal revenues exceeded 82 trillion dinars. So that is, of course, do the short math, 82 billion or so, 80 billion. Within the first 8 months, that is huge. The Iraqi Ministry of Finance revealed on Saturday the size of the revenues in the federal budget from January to August, the last of the year of 2025, exceeded 82 trillion dinar, pointing to the contribution of oil to the budget reached 90%. That's a tougher one. But we do know their expenditures were less. So I'm really, really, really impressed with what they have going on and upping that revenue and oil production. That's important because it is part of what they have discussed to in order to be able to lift their purchasing power. Last minute pressures. Let's get into elections because I do think it is possibly affecting how much news we get. Don't know if it affects timing, but it definitely seems to be affecting how much news is coming out as they are focused on this coverage right now. Last minute pressures. Washington holds its breath ahead of Iraq elections. There was a good one in here. McHale does not rule out that the Trump administration is exerting some last minute pressure to try to make it work. List supporting Soudani as part of a broader strategy aimed at weakening Iran by undermining the influence of its allies through the ballot box. In other words, the U.S. is doing its best for Soudani, meaning the U.S. and the pressure there is because they want Soudani. They like what Soudani's done. They believe him to be the best candidate in the field. We've seen so many out there complaining, oh, God, no, not politics, as they try to place blame here, there, whatever. He has broad, overwhelming public support, but he's going to need it in the different political factions as well. Does look like he is over the 60 block that he needs now. Oh, wait a minute. Go fast guy. My name should be on your shirt, Mark. Troy Weeb. Go Rough Riders. Woo woo. All right. I did like the so watching the politics roll out on this one has been very interesting because it shows you how invested the US is into these structural changes for the guy that says he is going to lift the purchasing power. In other words, we are putting our full support behind the person that wants to lift their, in other words, revalue their currency and be stable and an ally. Iraqi foreign minister hints at preventing 6 factions from participating in the next government. 6 factions that have been labeled terrorist organizations. The Iraqi government is like, why do we even want them in our government? Why do we just need to bar those factions? I'm always worried when we start barring factions and candidates that we're becoming authoritarian, or a country's becoming authoritarian, like we have seen in Germany, Poland, etc. But these are worldwide recognized terrorist organizations. And if you are closely tied to it, they're simply saying, hey, look, it's not an option. You can't be in our politics. We're not going to, it would be like rolling down to the local the federal prison and finding the murderers and then putting them in elected office kind of thing. And they're simply saying, no. I think these are extremely positive signs for the changes that we are watching. I did have, total side note, I have one Iraqi contact that works in government that said that it's his belief that we have not seen it yet because they don't want the perception that politics affected the RV. And I said, well, if that's true, and that's just conversations, talking, his thoughts, saying he believes that it would make sense to wait until the day after, so that they cannot claim that Soudani only did it to get elected. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. Texas Twin, I greatly appreciate that one. All right. Is DMS so tricky to take? No, not at all. I've taken it on and off for years, but I'll let everybody else put that one on and talk about it. All right, keep running. What else do we have from Iraq? Kurdistan oil contracts will be reviewed and companies return for commercial reasons. They're letting us know that many international companies that had left because of the economics, the instability, are returning or already have returned. And that speaks well to what these international companies believe will happen, RV related wise. Kurdistan oil exports reach 7.5 million barrels through SOMO. In other words, HCL and the beginning stages of that are working very well. They are moving oil. They are upping those amounts. It has been very successful. This is more progress than we have seen in 20 years, guys. Very positive. What else do we have to talk about? We got some shorts and things. Nothing out of my banking contacts as far as redemption, folks. They hadn't been called in as of early this morning. Don't have an update in the last hour or two, but as of right before, all good. Let's see. Original breaking: Turkey's issued arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu and 36 Israeli officials, accusing them of genocide and crimes against humanity committed in Gaza. This is getting interesting on that front. And boy, you want to talk about politically charged, what you can and can't say. Steve, no, didn't waste any time. All right, let's keep running. Can't stop, won't stop. Gold reserves. I found this one more than little interesting. Andy and I have talked about China hoarding gold in some of these countries, and China's off book. He is saying that he believes it could be 10x or more that China has stashed away in physical gold. I think officially they were claiming 2,500 tons, but they produce about 8,000 tons per year, and they're not allowed to sell outside of the country. So is China so wealthy that there are that many people running around with gold jewelry, or is the government sitting on it since they control it? And they're the number one importer and buyer, central bank buyer of gold. In a nutshell, the U.S. has about 8,000, but it is believed that China has considerably more than the U.S., maybe as much as 25 or 30,000 tons stashed away, which means that they would be more than ready to pull this trigger and help back with physical gold, this reset. I did when I was listening to that one. That's what I kept saying. I was like, man, I need to send this one to Mr. C. We're still looking for a Fort Knox audit that we have not gotten. No HCL has not officially passed yet, guys. Not passed. Some of the precursors have passed and gone into effect, but we need the whole thing. Supreme Court temporarily holds order requiring government to fully fund SNAP. They're calling for a 48-hour. We had well, I just hate the people suffering in this one, but we had an activist judge trying to force the government to pull money from areas where it's not legally allowed to, which would cause even more issues down the road. Supreme Court weighed in at the wee hours last night, 48-hour stay while they get a handle on this one. What is right? What is wrong? Legally, what needs to be done? I think you're going to see a lot of pressure now after this one. I think you're going to see a lot of pressure from the Supreme Court on Congress and Senate to get their job done. Or should I say the House and the Senate? Because the House and the Senate make up Congress. DOJ, I was very excited about this one. DOJ launches a probe of major meat packers over alleged beef price manipulation. Ranchers and industry groups have alleged that packers have undue influence over prices because of their consolidated control over the beef processing market. They've been manipulating prices, controlling prices, driving competition out. In order to give us more options and smaller farmers more options, DOJ is looking into it. Matter of fact, we have a, 80-some, I believe it was 83 million settlement by JBS, one of the top processors in February 2025 over disputes related to anti-competitive behavior. In other words, it's not a question where they've been at. The question is how deep does this corruption go as they manipulate the market and drive competitors out knowingly and purposely, which is affecting what ranchers make. You've got ranchers that are raising the cows that are making more money than the people processing, exponentially more per cow. So I was pretty excited when I read that story. Stefanik launches a bid for New York governor. Representative Elise Stefanik has released statements over the past year criticizing Kathy Hochul. She is now officially putting her hat in the ring to be a governor of New York. Now, what a backlash that would be. If she pushes hard, the backlash from Mondani, the backlash from Hochul, could you imagine a Republican winning? I think this is one that has the potential to be the big upset in New York if we fix the election system, or if we make certain it is transparent, legal, valid, etc. I'll throw in all those words. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying there's a lot of people that don't consider that it's correct, that it's not manipulated. They don't just put people in or manipulate votes. Are a lot of people. Matter of fact, if you looked at the percentage of people, it's over 50% of Americans don't trust the electoral system. Kind of need to work on it. Yeah, 72Z. Exactly. She might just win after last week. It's going to be interesting to see how well she can do representing, get her message out, dispelling the crap. Virginia Governor-elect Spanberger refuses to discuss time as a CIA operative. The only thing she will say is that her career, her deep undercover career working in the CIA, started in Western Europe. Yeah, she would even say during a sleuthing days, Spanberger said she had 5 different passports, would travel in true name, but then would meet people not in true name. In other words, you'd start your travel, you would use who you are, you would disappear into Western Europe. Anybody? CIA. Not even hiding it. Well, kind of hiding it. Refuses to give any details other than, yes, I was CIA. I find that troubling. I don't know if you guys find that troubling. I guess I wouldn't find it as troubling if she were running for, I don't know, governor of some small state that didn't have that level of influence, but it's Virginia. The headquarters of so many of these agencies in Northern Virginia, so many intelligence people living in. I mean, this one to me is screaming of not kosher. I mean, it smells, when the milk smells foul, it's probably rotten. When the fish smells like fish, you probably shouldn't eat it. This one stinks to me as I have started doing that. And I've only been like, I think I've got maybe 30 minutes of research and started diving and looking at other articles and comments and some of the people that had worked close or around. Don't know for certain yet. I mean, how much can we get out of them? But it is very, very questionable in my book. Cheryl, yeah, we kept Walter in our prayers yesterday as well. Just letting us know Walter's in hospice care. Spent 4 hours with him yesterday. Give them our best. Let them know we're praying for them. I find it troubling too because I live in Virginia. One of my sisters lives in Virginia. My mother lives in Virginia. I got a lot of family in Virginia. I am yeah. Believe me, Virginia is far from clean. I've worked audits and I know VA is not clean on elections. So yeah, I'm not going to fight with you on that one. I very much believe you to be correct. I wish it weren't. Derek, one of our sellout servants in New Hampshire, just pled guilty for child exploration, transgender at that. Not a surprise. Yeah, if it smells like fish, don't buy it. And and Governor-elect Spanberger smells like fish to me. And I'm not making a comment because she's female or any of those things. I don't need that knockoff crap from folks. Meaning the CIA thing does not smell kosher to me at all. At all. All right, what else? Oh, Comey's daughter supposedly sought to cut a deal with Epstein to smear Trump. According to Maureen Comey, the FBI were her people, not his. Former cellmate of Jeffrey Epstein claimed that James Comey's prosecuted daughter offered the billionaire pedophile a deal to implicate President Donald Trump. And according to him, the conversations that he had with Epstein was Epstein's like, I don't have anything on him. I mean, there's nothing. And he's like, well, what are you going to do? He said, well, they told me it doesn't have to be provable. It just can't be unprovable. In other words, he could make allegations against Trump and crew. They would sweep his prosecution, give him a sweetheart deal, let him out, let him keep rolling like he has been. If he would just implicate Trump in a way that Trump's organization could not disprove. Now, of course, we're trusting the word of of somebody that killed, I believe it was 4 people, former police, very questionable moral character here. Very. So which word do we trust? I mean, we've seen Comey's daughter's questionable morals. We've seen Mr. Comey's questionable morals. They're well documented at this point. Congressional testimony, you name it. So we're being asked to trust one or the other, and it definitely fits with her history and comments and others. But think about that. Don't have to prove anything. The allegations just need to be strong enough that it affects him personally. In other words, we don't have to get a conviction here. We can just say, oh, we couldn't maintain it in the court of law because people lie or whatever. They just have to implicate him enough. And Epstein's like, I got nothing. Yeah, the Comeys, such a nice family. They just love America so much. Flight Level, thank you for that. Very kind. So, yeah, there's pretty much my news for the day. I some of these stories, when I look at them, I'm like, we are getting there, guys. We kept being told we were going to disclosure. People were going to start being held accountable. We're finally seeing that. Crumbles, Walter's in hospice care because he had a series of strokes. He had part of one leg amputated a few years ago. It's been a tough run for Walter. Definitely sending prayers. I need to reach out to him. Derek, thank you for that, brother. Thank you for that. I'll take a look. Probably wait, Derek, you sent it to cell phone, right? Or did you email me? Let's look. Cell phone, that works. That works. How did the integrity of our public officials become so tarnished? Theories on that one? We started worrying more about appearances of our public officials than their true character. We started worrying about things like, I had too many drinks one night or something like that, instead of worrying about, well, they worked for the CIA, or they're in the pocket of a pharmaceutical company, or they're working with a cartel. Suddenly those things were less important than they were seen shaking hands at an event with somebody that was questionable. So we started worrying about all the wrong things. We started worrying about trivial crap like that, or reputations instead of reality or policy. We allowed ourselves to be easily diverted. Yeah, I just don't like his mean text, right? Next thing you know, we're not going to vote for him, and we're going to vote for somebody that does evil things to us, but we didn't like his mean text, even though he was doing good things. That's just an example. Our priorities as a nation got very confused. I'm not saying you guys did or mine or etc. I'm just saying priorities as a country got very confused. Raj, just go back. We did bond news about 20 minutes ago in the podcast. About 20 minutes ago exactly. Just back up your little live thing and grab those. Lonely, tarnished public figures. I don't mean like small. I mean like they're trying to get, in some instances, lonely Paco to focus on little stuff instead of the big stuff. They're just, it's simply, look at the smoke. Don't pay any attention to the fire. Lily, breaking fast moving fire rips through multiple commercial buildings in Los Angeles. Insurance. I know I shouldn't think that initially, and I should be like, hopefully nobody got hurt. But when I see things like that and the way that they have grabbed land, engineered stuff, and how much I distrust politicians, and especially California politicians and officials, it makes me question. That's one of the saddest things, or one of the saddest commentaries on this day and time, this point in world history and American history, or should I say American history and world history, is our complete and utter lack of faith that we have in government and officials. And part of it's purposeful. If they can create that division between this party, that party, your government, then we're not going to defend our government. We're going to be like, yeah, no, tear it down. At the same time, how much of it is deserved? We need people with vision that stand up. We don't need perfect people. We just need people willing to fight for a country. When I say fight, I don't mean get out there and stab each other in the back or beat each other with clubs. That's Annabelle's mom, exactly. I immediately think land grab. "15-minute city." That's one thing I am loving right now about Silicon Valley. They want us all out in the cities. I mean, not out in the city, out in the rural areas. They're saying technology can remove our need to live in the city. But if you want to live in the city, they'll come up with cool things for us, vertical farming, blah, 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 blah. RMJ, I've been told repeatedly that projects do not affect rates on dinar or dong, but do on Zim. Well, you could get extra money on Zim. We've done this one to the point of ad nauseum. I really don't want to cover that one again. Really don't want to. But in the short, what I have been told on Zim, and I believe to be accurate, is that you personally take home the same money whether you have a project or don't. Any additional money, 100% solely, every extra penny goes to just the project and not you. There's the short of it. Hopefully that makes sense to you. I'm getting so many new people, and it's easier just to email me and ask me than it is to watch a couple of older videos. Unfortunately, I just don't have the time to respond to all those emails, but I think we're back. I had really beat into it, but I'm back up to almost 10,000 emails unanswered. And it is just not humanly possible, guys. So if you doing a little more watching, not you in particular, Jay, whatever, just like people in general can watch a few more episodes and answer their own questions, it would be so appreciated. It's always been too many middlemen in beef ranching, Sarah. And part of that is, well, not, I shouldn't say always. In the past, it wasn't as bad. We had local butchers. I mean, you would take your cow down, or a lot of the farms used to process their own animals. That's something I would like to see a return to. But we have so regulated farming, industry, health. And I mean, don't get me wrong, we need to be healthy. We need to be clean. We need to make certain the things are sanitary, et cetera. Totally understand that need. There's got to be somewhere in between. The big processors now have passed so many laws where there's so many extra requirements that really don't make any health sense at all, but they pass them. They require like massive bonds if you're going to process meats, things like that. In other words, they've squeezed out the small competition so that people can't compete with them, so that they can control the prices. That's what we got to fix. We need to deregulate to a large degree our governments and local governments in a common sense way. We kind of need to take the bumpers out of the gutter in our bowling alley. Boom, boom, boom. Assembly line farmers, yes, it is. When this goes, you plan to join with other truthers to celebrate publicly? Yeah, I don't know, Jay Bart. Can I just go sleep for a couple months and then come back to it? I am certain I will do a number of events with some of the other folks that were involved in this one. Ooh, God, Sluggo, good call. I haven't done the birthday thing yet, have I? Let's do that. And then I need to get busy. It's going to be a long work day today. Renetta, debut. Anybody else celebrating? Sound off. Lily Pad, newly leaked documents reveal that New York City Mayor-elect Mamdani plans to terminate all city contracts with companies tied to Israel and pull city funds to the banks and finance. Yeah, I also was reading a story, and I don't know how accurate or inaccurate it is, Lily Pad, that the plan is not for 7 days a week, but on weekends, New York and the mosques will be allowed to do a public call to prayer. So you'll be able to hear that call to prayer in the mornings. We plan to raise cattle, process them, and then sell out of our store. I love that idea. I'd like to see dairies that do that, where you go to the dairy, they got like a creamery there where you can buy your milk, you can buy your whatever, you can, get fresh ice cream. I'm donating my green bean salad to the mall. Jamie Page, 35 today, to go with some of the other birthdays. 55th to Miss Ronnie. All right, birthday folks. Let's do this one. Happy birthday to all those celebrating. I see Kath celebrating 68 today. So they tell me it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday, darling. May you live, may you love, make all your dreams come true. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. To all those celebrating, and including Jason celebrating the big 46. WR Carr, my daughter and son-in-law have a butcher shop. WR Carr, if they want free advertisement or a free plug, let us know the area. And if they have a website or whatever, I would happily share that on the podcast. Don't know if it would help or not, but I would gladly do that. All right, folks. Take care. Have a great day. If there's any breaking news, we'll start with X, Truth, Telegram, get it out. If it's really breaking, we will do a podcast as well. For whatever reason, whenever there's an unscheduled podcast, read the description before you lose your mind. Could be nothing. Could just be saw something funny. Could be I felt like you guys needed a piece of information where somebody released something that was just blatantly wrong or confusion over what I did. So always read the description. Surfer Lewis is awfully busy today. I wish we could have had him on, but I understand. If you can, go give Lewis some love and support today. I cannot wait to watch his debate performance. All right, folks, now I'm out of here. See you guys.